So we're at 8 o'clock and it's Thursday morning. It's May 22nd. I can hardly believe it. I heard a saying the other day, some of you probably know it, that our days move slow, but our years move fast. And I don't know how that works, but I know it's true. But the days can seem like, oh my gosh, is it still today? But I cannot believe it's almost June. It just befuddles me how fast this year has been going. So anyway, so welcome this morning, and we're going to be hearing from our team, our friends over at the San Antonio Area Foundation for our briefing today. But before we get there, a couple announcements, and I hope others have announcements as well. But there are two things coming up that I'm going to send out to at the intersection immediately after this. Two things. On June 5th, it's a Thursday, at 7 p.m., the doors open at 6:30 p.m., will be the second annual Interfaith Summit San Antonio. We held one last year, and folks have met several times and continued work across this past year, but it was focused on last year the whole concept, an unknowing of separation of church and state, and how do we do this work. And I would say that conversation probably is even more important today than it was last year, given our national context and what that also means to us locally. This year, there's going to be a younger panel of people that are representing different faith traditions in a panel that will be moderated by Mayor Nuremberg. And the theme is compassion as the antidote to nationalism. It's free and open to the public, and it's at the Whitley Event Center over at Oblate School of Theology. And many of you know that space. It's got plenty of parking, and we'll have plenty of room for you. But I really, really encourage you to attend that. June 5th, Thursday, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. The other event that I think is very important to our community is on Wednesday, June 18th. And that will be the day that our new mayor and council will be sworn in. But prior to that swearing in process, historically in San Antonio, and a lot of people don't know that, but there's a blessing of our city council and mayor in San Fernando Cathedral. And this is a historic event that happens with every new council right before the swearing in. It's Wednesday, June 18th at 3 p.m. in San Fernando Cathedral. It too, of course, is at no cost and open to the public. But the swearing in, I don't know if it's open to the public. I just know that the swearing in that happens later is like standing room only. And you can't get in basically unless you got your own seat type of thing. I've never been to one, kind of like to go once. But the blessing isn't that way. I think it's one of the best ways that within our intersection of faith, community, and civic leadership to show support and bless our newer way forward. So I really hope that you all consider to show up and go to those and meet me there, and to tell others in your community and go as well. So those are my announcements. I think we have time for one other. Does anybody out there have an announcement? Martha Ann does. She's back from the Holy Land. Oh my gosh, girl.
And so jet lagged, up at 4 this morning. In the chat, look at the blog. The women that were speaking with us on April 24th here at this gathering, we were with them. We were among about 5,000 Israelis who were saying it's time for peace. So I'm very honored and very grateful that I got to be with them in the Holy Land.
Well, and we're so glad that you were there. Um, as our representative, I noticed my video's not working. And to have that blog, you might want to drop that in every once in a while as new people come in so they can go there. So
Thank
I want to introduce our friend Jane Paccione from the Area Foundation, and I know that she has others with her. Sarah's with us, and I'm not quite sure who else, but as long as you can still hear my voice, my technology is a little funky this morning, but I'm here, and Billy is here, and so he's going to keep us going. So, Jane, I'm going to hand it over to you. Oh, prefacing that, we have in the last week's been going through some videos, Jane, from the found area, not the area foundation, but the HEB Foundation on redlining and housing and benefits and so this kind of next phase we're going into is looking in kind of different areas of efforts that are happening, like SALSA, different age groups, how those things are impacted, and what's happening to help with that and how people can connect. So now it's up to you. Thanks, Jane.
And thank you so much for the invitation. I did want to do a shout out. I am co-presenting with Joanne Tobias Molina, so I will be here for a few minutes and share some slides, and then Joanne will follow up. Mr. Gavin Nichols is in the house. He's on the salsa team, and as you said before, and Sarah Davis. So if you guys are out there, please wave. We also have salsa partners in the room. So, Bill Glenn, I see you over there too, from NAMI. And of course, we work very closely with Sacred. And I'm happy to tell you we're working on an older adult portal, which I'm completely excited about. Hopefully, that will get done by the end of the year. So, Joanne, if you could share the deck, that would be wonderful. So, good morning to everybody. Okay. This is us successfully aging and living in San Antonio. Next slide, please. Okay, so as Anne shared, we are with the San Antonio Area Foundation. The San Antonio Area Foundation strives to serve as our area's most impactful philanthropic partner. Our vision is to close the opportunity gaps for those in the region with the most need. I think that you'll be happy to know that we here in San Antonio we're in the top 25 of sized assets for community foundations, and we manage over $1 billion in philanthropic funds for our people. So you may know this guy, Mr. John Santikos from the Santikos Entertainment Legacy, and he gave his empire, right, his movie theaters to the Area Foundation so that we can manage Santikos and give back monies to profits to the social sector in San Antonio. So keep going to the movies is what I'm saying. Over this long weekend coming, keep going to the movies. Ultimately, it does good. Next slide, please. So why are we here today talking about successfully aging and living in San Antonio? So this is what the Census Bureau has told us that by 2034, we will have more older adults and younger people for the first time in US history. That's why we're here today. That's why the Area Foundation created SALSA so that we can lean into this amazing longevity dividend that we've been given. But you can see on the left side in the 1960s, we didn't have many people aging past 85. And now when we project to 2060, you can see we have many more people. So from a pyramid to a pillar in a short period of time is amazing. Next slide, please. And this is what's happening on the ground in San Antonio. Yeah, we've got population change here, but look at the group that's growing the most. And that's why older adult considerations in all the work we do, especially in faith-based organizations, is so important. Next slide, please. So, SALSA was created to transform our community by advancing policies, practices, and improve the quality of life for older adults in Bexar County. I think our vision is older adults are respected, thrive, and enjoy connected life, which sounds much more sexy than our mission statement. That means we're moving policy. Next slide, please. So this is how we create systems level change at the at SALSA at the Area Foundation. So we hope to influence funders to say, hey, we need some more money in the aging space as this demographic changes. We want to catalyze collaboration. We want to work together with everybody to move our communities forward. We generate a lot of knowledge. We do inform policy, and we are talking about shifting the narrative around aging and, of course, mobilize communities. Next slide, please. So we have 4 focus areas. Transportation. Why? Because we outlive our driving abilities by about 4 to 10 years. What does that look like in San Antonio? Housing. We know that the groups right now, the group that's becoming homeless the most right now are older adults, and they're becoming homeless for the first time, which is very sad. Social connectedness. We know that us being together with all different ages is really important for our health and for the health of others and for our community as a whole. So we really dig down in social connectedness to make sure how are we making these intentional connections between different even age groups. And then we have the caregiver support. We have a care economy that's in crisis, and we are working on many different things to make sure that our care economy here in San Antonio is strong. Next slide, please. So 2 of the things, Joanne's going to go through more, but 2 of the things that we have going on right now at the Area Foundation is the changing the narrative, reframing aging. What does that look like, right? As we try and talk about something that when we think of aging, we normally think of our grandparents. But guess what? We're not aging like our grandparents. We have this longevity dividend, and there's a better way to talk about aging and all the pieces that come with it. We also house the Reframing Housing Initiative. So that's reframing affordable housing. We started that about a year and a half ago. And it's been a journey as we try and speak to the general public about what is affordable housing, what does it mean, why do we need it, who needs it. So there's a better way to talk about that too. And next slide, please. And when we think about reframing aging, I want to show you this one image, right? So we've got a before, it says this is a bus. We've seen them running around. It says senior shuttle. This is actually from Boston. And Boston went ahead and rebranded, and on their bus, it now says transporting Boston's most experienced people. Which bus do you want to be on? Right? So at the Area Foundation, that's the type of thing when we're trying to reframe aging and reframe affordable housing. This is the type of thing we're thinking and having people think differently, not just about aging out there, but aging right here. And I'm going to hand it over to Joanne, and she's going to talk about some of the other things that we have that we want you to get involved with. Thank you, Joanne.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here. And as Jane said at the beginning, we are conveners. So we are a collective impact. And when we bring people together, we bring people together with a purpose. Much like your faith-based organizations and your other organizations you're a part of, we have a singular goal that we want to help move the needle forward in our community. So one of the areas of interest that we are involved in is in housing. And to address that, one of the areas we know is that if you ask any person over the age of 65, where do you want to live? Where do you want to live for the rest of your life? The AARP study tells us that over 95% of people want to live in their own home. They want to remain in their own home where they are comfortable, they have their own things, they have the routine, they have their neighborhood. And so how many of us want to remain in our own home? to that end, one of the things that Sarah Davis has been leading for 3, 4 years now is the community aging in place presentations. This is a material that has been put together with other partners where we go out and educate individuals at libraries, at different organizations to talk about what does it take to live and modify your own home to be able to age in place? Are there modifications needed? What do I need to do? And some of us, when we first bought our house, we never really thought about aging. And I think Jane you calls it the Peter Pan houses, where we never thought about what we're going to be the impact of having a two-story house when our knees are starting to give out on us. What are the things that we need to do in order to help make our home livable and comfortable for us for the long run? And so community agent in place presentations is something that we can offer at the community, your organizations, and we can talk about how important it is to discuss the home modifications, how important it is to be socially connected, transportation, and resources in order to help people maintain their own home. Not only modifications, but also education. Education about awareness on property taxes. Many people, young homeowners come out and they don't realize I have to apply for a property tax. I can protest my property taxes. I can do a lot of things to help my budget. And many times older adults may not realize that when I turn 65, that there's this opportunity for me to do that. So we want to work with our partners in educating people. What does it take to be able to utilize the resources that are out there to be able to maintain myself in my own home? The other group that is very new to us, we recently launched this at the beginning of the year. It's called Social Connectedness. This is building upon the work of the past Surgeon General, where he talked about the idea that social isolation is really a public health disease, that the equivalent of being socially isolated is equivalent to smoking 15 packs of cigarettes a day. It's amazing when you think about it. You may not realize how important it is to actually be connected to other individuals. And so with this work group, we have convened people from different sectors, both government, nonprofit, for businesses, and we've brought them together. And one of the examples that really worked for us, it came out of COVID, and that is called the Silver Connect. It's right in the center of this presentation. This came out of an idea that Jane had and saw in the UK and brought to us and said, why not? Why can't we have this? This is a warm answer line. I would say a helpline. In a way, it is a helpline, but it is a line for individuals that are over the age of 65 that's open Monday through Friday from 5 until 9 o'clock, and then all day on Saturday and Sunday. And you may ask yourself, why those hours? Well, generally speaking, Monday through Friday from 8 to 5, you can probably get some answers at a agency called the regular human services agencies or social service agencies. But when it gets really quiet, Monday through Friday in the evening, and of course all day Saturday and Sunday, what if you just want to talk to someone? What if you just have someone, an issue, a concern, or what if you're just lonely? That's what Silver Connect was built on. The idea that we will have trained volunteers able to answer the phone and be able to be a warm listening line. And the individuals, this is currently run out of San Antonio Oasis. They are always looking for volunteers. And the volunteers go through a training program. And the beautiful thing about this is that it can be done from anywhere. It is a remote opportunity. It is an application that's downloaded to your phone. So the volunteer gets the call through the app, and then they're able to engage in calls. And sometimes one of the stories we've heard is that one gentleman likes to call on Sunday afternoons during football season and just discuss football. It's just something he wants to do. It's engaging him, it's getting him some community connection, and it's good for the volunteer as well. So that's Silver Connect that comes out of that work group. And then our newest project is the volunteer resource guide that you see listed there. And we're very excited to launch this. We're in a soft launch right now. We will be having this up on our website soon, along with a video. And our goal in this group is to identify opportunities for older adults to be volunteers. And it goes both ways because we want volunteers to be out in the community helping not only older adults, but anyone in the community. We also want organizations to be welcoming of older adults. And what does that mean? You would think, well, of course they would want to. But it's very surprisingly to think about that some organizations may not even consider having older adults come on board, or they have not been exposed to older adults in terms of saying, oh, you're 60, 70, 80, and you want to volunteer? What does that look like? And some people may not understand or be aware or maybe even be afraid of what does it mean to have an older adult come onto my team as a volunteer. So we're preparing this volunteer resource guide with the same framework of the reframing aging ideas and framework. And we're going to be having this out on our website along with a great video so people can access it and think about having a community of volunteers to come and join them and share that wisdom and experience that they have gained. Oopsies, sorry about that. I have my caregiver support. These two reports came out of the caregiver support. The caregiver's toolkit is why I'm here to speak with you today, I think is my part of this. Caregiver support, it's our national effort. If we can see on the screen, it says family caregiving is an issue that touches almost every one of us. We've either been a caregiver, will be a caregiver, may have needed to be a caregiver, or received caregiving before. And so there is a national effort called the Raise Family Caregivers Act. And there is a strategy in there that we've been utilizing to convene our family caregiver support group over the last few years. What we are looking to you as faith-based organizations is to help us partner with the communities of faith and faith-based organizations because we know you are trusted sources of all information, support, and comfort. We want to be able to be a partner with you and bring the information that we have in our caregiver toolkit, as well as a curriculum along that side to help educate people about being a caregiver. If you ask individuals, sometimes they may not realize that I am a caregiver until you start going into what does it mean to be a caregiver? And some people may think, well, I'm just a spouse. That's just what I do. It's expected of me. Or I'm just a daughter. And of course, I'm going to take care of my parent. But they may not realize themselves as being a caregiver. And what our toolkit does is help identify resources and support, not only for providing care, but also how to support themselves. Because we know that one of the most difficult jobs we can have is to be a caregiver of someone. And sometimes, because we're caregivers, we don't always take care of ourselves. And that means our mental health and our physical health, and just being able to speak with others who are going through the same situation. So, what we would like to do is to partner with you and other organizations to deliver a training on the elements of caregiving and share the resources with your participants, your congregation, the members of your organization to help them identify what does it mean to be a caregiver? Who can I turn to if I need resources and assistance? Where do I go? And how do I help myself or help a neighbor to be able to live in their own home, age in place, and receive the resources that they need. So you have my name right there. That's me, Joanne Tobias Molina at JATMolina at SAAFDN.org. That uses all the letters of the alphabet, I believe. Or you may call me at 210-289-9316. That is my phone number. And I look forward to speaking with you. If you have any questions about the faith-based organization and our project, I'd love to speak with you more about it. And I think I have one more slide that says thank you. And I'll turn that back over to Jane if she wants to say anything else to wrap that part up.
Thank you. Great job, Joanne. I did want to say that our collective impact is 72 plus organizations and over 120 people. So all this work that we're looking at, we do it as a collective. Lots of organizations, lots of dedicated people doing amazing work. And many of them on this screen right now.
And within our work, it's the same thing. We talk about it in terms of community collaboration, and even looking at the research that's come out in these last couple of years, but how the human species is still alive, surviving because of collaboration and working together. And that's all the work that we do, and that we talk about the intersection. How can we co-labor more? How can we do this together? And I love the fact that, 75 organizations, that's a lot of organizations. I would say the other collaborative that's about that same size that I know is in the environment. It's our environmental collaboration. And when I think about the first time they gathered together, I thought, well, our planet and the environment's a pretty big thing. So it's going to take a lot of people working on it, like all of us, right? And the same thing is true of aging. I always love that byline, aging is cool. Everybody's doing it. Talk about getting in touch with their own reality, right? And do you ever offer these trainings? Um, I know what you're asking now is to call us and we'll set it up. But do you ever do it the other direction where you set up the trainings and invite the public?
Yes, we've done it. We've done it both ways. And we will be, throughout the year offering different things like aging in place, like reframing aging. We're also looking at caregivers in the workplace, getting with organizations and talking about how can we better support the caregivers in your space? What policies can we change to make their lives better, right? And therefore the lives better of the people that they're caring for. Do a lot of work at the Area Foundation. We do a lot of work at SALSA, and I just want to say the SALSA team, thank you so much for being such a dedicated team. And we're not othering either, right? We do believe we have Generations Over Dinner is another initiative that Sarah Davis has been leading for us, where we bring out generations together and have better understanding across ages. Because ageism is out there and it affects both young and old um, San Antonians. I'm going to say San Antonians, just here, San Antonians, it affects them. So, what do we need to do to try and counter that? And so, having these discussions, I would say check our website. It's the website that Joanne gave /salsa of different things that are coming up.
It also makes me think of there's a much stronger movement in San Antonio in terms of involving our younger community, and that's a good example of that too is the Interfaith Summit that's coming up. That the panel is of younger people, and there's a huge surge and a collaborative in that direction. So these things are not just converging, they overlap, and we're becoming more of a community. I also am excited that you brought that up about policy
Mhm.
with these films in particular, these video resources and guides from the HEB Foundation. I think one of the most important comments within that and questions was about policy change. And how do you go about that kind of policy change? What does that look like as a community, right?
Mhm.
And working across, much like SALSA does, working across the sectors, working across public and government. How does that look? Um, so the mayor is coming, current mayor, but he's going to be coming on June 5th in the morning and talking about policy change and what that has looked like. And in these 8 years to be more compassionate. And that's what we're talking about with SALSA and caregiving and being more compassionate. What do you see in terms of these are just amazing resources and connections, but what do you see as kind of a major step or some steps that are happening into the future in terms of SALSA and what's happening in San Antonio? Is there some sort of strategy or
Well,
thing?
I think that we know the power comes from all generations, right, being together. But we do need to change some policies and programs to support this older adult demographic that's coming up. We're gonna have, as I showed you on the images, we're gonna have a lot of older adults in our space. What does that look like for the people who aren't driving anymore? How are we making sure that we're connecting these dots? And I would add, for-profit businesses need to be in this space too. So at SALSA, we have for-profit, nonprofit, and government because we want everybody to be looking at this space and going for that North Star where older adults are respected, thrive, and enjoy connected lives. That should be what we all want. And so I
Mhm.
love seeing collaboration. I've collective impact to me. I've drunk that Kool-Aid. I totally believe in it. Eric over at the food bank won't solve food insecurity on his own. Everybody needs to be looking at this and looking at the same North Star. So I think we do amazing work, each one of us, but together, just imagine how far we can go and the excitement in that. And policy change really is at when I showed you my river up here, right? How do people, older adults, lose their housing here? What happened? Let's go upstream and see what systems and policies are holding people back.
Mm, mm.
It's good stuff.
It is good stuff. I see that Peter has his hand up. I'm going to pause real quick and then we're going to go to Peter. It's 8:31. And so those of you who might need to move on with your day, thank you for being with us. As I mentioned earlier, we're trying to go a little bit more granular into what we've been looking at in those videos and learning about what's going on in our world. So next week, we're going to be hearing about street medicine and taking clinic and healing out into the streets. There's an effort at Incarnate Word and others, but we're going to be hearing about that. The following week on June 5th, the same day as the Interfaith Summit, we're going to start the day with Mayor Nuremberg, but he's going to be talking about that main question of how do you make policy happen? What are those changes and how do you go about that? So, and somewhere along the way, we're going to also hear more about what is happening in terms of young people, youth in our community, and that kind of collaboration. So we're trying to go, granular. We're trying to go down into the I'm not into the weeds, but down into the roots of our community and how do we be about this work? I love that whole North Star. Makes me want to start another organization. Anyway, a sidebar. Peter, your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Anne. And thank you, Jane and Joanne, is it?
Yes, Joanne.
I'm sorry. Okay, Jane, Joanne, thank you so much for the presentation. So timely and such it's an obvious challenge. I just wanted to kind of paint a perspective that I found working in the southwest part of San Antonio with New Life Christian Center, but working very strategically in the Quintana South San community. And when we came in looking at how we can build resiliency there, finding those trusted agents that the seniors that are in silos would connect with and trust because of all the predatory challenges that are there. How do we protect them? And knowing that the connectivity is so critical to their success and to their survival in the communities. And so we started to dig down deeper into that. And it's been a while since I really looked into the Area Foundation. Years ago, I had applied for different grants through it. And then most recently, a lot of the public grants I've been pursuing, which with the city, the state, and even a federal grant. And part of the challenge is building capacity for those nonprofits and faith-based specifically. We have a corridor we're working on in the Quintana, and there's the 4 churches there, right? And we're all in silos there and working to try to connect with community and building the capacity within the faith-based organizations and other nonprofits. Of course, and the city did that with the Office of Sustainability and referenced the EcoSA, that environmental group. Funding was provided and funding had been invested in that community, close to $100,000 in different businesses, nonprofits, and one nonprofit. And so my question is that capacity building funding, that component specifically for this work, right, of connecting the seniors in the community with community and resources and building that. Is there a percentage that you would say of the funds that are available? I don't know if this is a practical question, but that are available to faith-based organizations that are building capacity for working community?
Yes, and we have Gavin Nichols on the call here, and if he was on, he would say we have a collaborative grant opportunity right now that if you go to our website, it's for 3 or more entities because we want collaboration, real collaboration. There needs to be a lead, but if you can check that out, Peter, online, That's open, I think, until the end of June. If Gavin's here, if he can drop the link um,
In the
in the
chat.
that would be handy. Or someone in the team drop it over there if Gavin's no longer here. But yeah, I mean, I think that we have Gavin leads our successfully aging grant process. I'm sure he would be happy to talk with you. Also, we're trying to build a funders group focused around aging. Oh yeah,
Great.
Gavin just put his information in there, Peter.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
One of the things, Jane, that in all the community work that I've been doing for years, and the one area of volunteering, and maybe it's out there, I haven't found it yet, but talk about raising the boats, to quote Billy, but our grant writers, people who really know how to do that kind of work. And you probably know this so much better than I do, but especially like smaller nonprofits and in congregations, and there are these opportunities that come along. There might not be many, but then to figure out how to do it, right? And to write that grant when that might not be your skill set, even like you've never done it before and it's hard for you. But I've often thought about what that could do in our city if there were, a group of people who volunteer as grant writers and they know what that means and they can work with, and they're probably there.
And also, we have classes at the Area Foundation for nonprofits, nonprofit leaders. Actually, we just finished our grant writing class over 2 days. So we're here to support the nonprofits, build capacity. We're open for conversations. We're open to what I think one of the things we do extremely well is facilitate amazing conversations and check out the Area Foundation, check out what we can do for nonprofits, check out the grant cycle that we have. Because I'm a firm believer that, the information's there, just connect and we'll be there. Oh yeah, Sarah just put in the grant writing certificate, but yeah, and I'm with you. If we had some volunteers and maybe as we see more older adults who have been in development for a number of years, and after they get sort of a little rested, they may want to say, hey, I've got this skill set. And we are happy to anybody, if you know of anybody that wants to do that, have them connect with us so that we could get a little pool of people who maybe would want to do that. But also the educational piece at the Area Foundation is great. Connect with us.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. We just need to grow that part.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Just move us, that capacity. It would just ramp it up a bit if we had that. And I know there are things like Catch a Fire, and many of us know about you don't know Catch a you know.
We love Catch a Fire. We're actually a sponsor of a lot of organizations in that system. So Catch a Fire is basically, and it was a lot like you're talking about, professionals in the space who say, hey, I can do a website, I can develop collateral, I can help you create a grant response. I can, anything you need, you get into the system and you post and you get people across the United States saying, I can help you with that.
Yeah.
You get to interview people. So you don't have to, there may be 3 people responding to your post. Interview them, see who's the best fit. But Catch Fire is a great, again, collaborative tool that helps us all. And I think Disability SA saved thousands of dollars using Catch a Fire. They're one of our sponsored, supported for Catch a Fire. So I'm just saying, if you need to speak to anybody about the wonders of Catch a Fire, don't take it from me. Take it from Melanie over at Disability SA.
Yep.
We'll tell you.
We need to have them come.
Yes.
At the intersection and go through kind of resources. So I think we have time for one last comment or question or gratitude. And if there aren't out there, then I've got all of that to offer.
And as I said, I am really happy that Sacred's working on an adult portal. And so I'd love to come back in the fall and talk about that.
Ah, and I've got ideas about it too. You know, we've got those user groups in Sacred that come together. And so I think like the caregiving could happen at the user group and the portal and all that, right? Beverly Watts Davis has her hand up. Beverly?
Hello to all the people at the San Antonio Area Foundation. I just wanted to be able to thank you for all the great work that you all do. Gavin has been around for a long time and has been helping to build capacity, even when it wasn't the great word to throw around. He's been doing that for a long time. Thank you, Gavin. But I also want to just be able to say, West Cape Foundation, we do give out many grants, and many of them we have recommended many of the people that have been a part of your work to actually get to help build their capacity in terms of doing that. So thank you all, because again, San Antonio is a city of nonprofits, and we really need our nonprofits to be strong. Most recently, as we've been dealing with the cuts from the federal government, we have continued to say to people, they've come to us and say, Bev, can you give us 20? Can you give us 30? Can you give us 40 grand? Whatever. I mean, we have literally been saying, and sometimes people they don't realize what they have until they get into a situation when they have to realize what they don't have and then do something about it. So we've been referring a lot of people, and again, people now are in a space where they realize that I need to build my capacity. I need to learn how to write grants. I need to learn how to collaborate, because many people don't really know what that really means, and they think that they have to lose their identity to do so. They keep saying, no, we're stronger together. It just means that you're pooling your resources to get something done with like-minded people and like-minded organizations. And you guys have done that. And Ann, thanks for all the facilitation that you do, because you guys, our city, none of us can do this work alone. There's not a single nonprofit I know of, and then we have some fabulous ones, but none of them can be successful by themselves. Not anyone, no one. And so thanks. Hats off to you, Ann, as usual, and thanks for being a part, and truly to the Area Foundation. Just thanks for everything.
Thank you.
And I think Beverly summed it up for everybody. And I'm going to invite everybody to open their mics, except all the AIs that are here. And if we could give kind of a cacophonous thank you to the Area Foundation, because it in itself is a collaborative, right? That's how it works, all of it. So thank you, San Antonio Area Foundation. Thank you, Jane and Joanne and Sarah and Gavin. And yeah, we wouldn't be San Antonio without you. So
thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you for your great work.
Thank you.
God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you all next week at the intersection. Have great days and a great weekend.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.